The Battlefield 1 beta has been out for a few days now, the open beta. It seems like most people have gotten around to playing it now. I personally have a few thoughts on it myself, being someone who was somewhat excited about the game. Now that I've played it, the first thing that you notice when you turn the game on is that there's no more battle log. I believe it was called battle log, where in Battlefield 3 and 4, you wouldn't boot up the game. You would, on PC, you wouldn't boot up the game. You'd go into like a Chrome tab or whatever web browser you use and open up this battle log and go on this website from EA and then find a server and then it would launch the game. I absolutely hated that. Just did not like it. They are not doing it here. They're doing this like Star Wars Battlefront, where you open up the game like you would any other game and then find a server in there or join one of the official ones through like a quick play, sort of find a match type thing. In this beta, they had two game modes, Conquest and Rush. Conquest is sort of the typical game mode that Battlefield 3 and 4 have become kind of famous for, where you've got, I believe, 64 players, I think it is, in one game. Just a lot of chaos, a lot of vehicles, stuff like that. Big chaotic battles. Not really my type of thing. I played 2 games of it. It never has been my kind of thing, and Battlefield 1's not changing my mind about it. The other game mode was Rush, which I believe was a 24-player game mode. Now, this was much more my speed. It's the same map. It was one map for the whole beta, which we'll talk about later. But this Rush game mode was basically, the map starts out, it's got 3 or 4 sections. It's maybe 3 sections. It's 3 sections, and it's a lot like the Overwatch game mode where you capture the points, and then once that point has been captured, the defending team has to retreat back to the next point, and more of the map opens up until the attacking team either captures every point, or the attacking team runs out of time, and then the defenders win. So I just wanted to interrupt to say that Rush has been in Battlefield 3 and 4. I just remembered that after recording this, so I'm not an idiot. I played the previous games. I just thought that Rush suited this game very well. I'm not a historian. I don't know much about World War I, except for a few things that we'll get onto later that make no sense in this game. But it did have a feeling like you just run. It's like a mad rush of people, and you look to your left, some guy's getting blown the fuck up. You look to your right, some dude's getting his head sniped off, and hopefully you're still alive and you're making it to plant the bomb on the point. Very fun, very hectic game mode. And it felt pretty balanced. Sometimes I'd be on a team that was attacking, and we'd just be crushing the other team, just plowing through. Other times I'd be attacking, and the defenders were holding their own, and vice versa on the defending team. So this seems to be a pretty balanced game mode, except for this one vehicle that is in both Conquest and Rush, I believe. Yeah, it's definitely in both. It was called the Light Tank. Now, there's 2 variants of it. One of them had like a machine gun, chain gun type thing. That one's fine. There's no issue there. The one that had an issue was the one that shot like tank mortar shells. This fucking light tank shit, it's so overpowered, and you don't even have to be that good. I mean, like somebody that had been in it before, once someone got in one of these and they got going, they were pretty much unstoppable, at least in the 3 or 4 hours that I spent playing this beta. It's like they could snipe with this tank, basically. So you can't even get close enough to put a bomb on it or to blow it up, because he's going to snipe you before you can even get close. So that would become kind of an issue in both game modes, especially in the game mode where you attack on Rush. Once someone got on a streak in one of those things, it's basically game over. But besides that tank, which I definitely think that tank's going to be rebalanced, there's just no way. But aside from that tank, I thought this was a balanced game mode. It was really fun, and it was exactly the kind of game mode that I wanted out of Battlefield 1. Now, the biggest downside of this beta, the one thing that is really holding me back from saying that I like this game, was the map. There's only one map. I forget what it's called, but it's like this desert map. You can see it I'm playing a video of some gameplay right now. Did not like this map at all. It's very flat, except for this middle part where there's like these awkward sort of hills, but nobody really goes up there. For the most part, it's a very flat map. There's not much to it, and there's no trenches. I like the 2 things that you think of when you think of World War I are, gas grenades, and trench warfare. There's like one pseudo trench in this entire map. Now, this map is, like I said, in a desert, so maybe historically there's no trenches there, but it just makes it a bizarre map to choose as your one showcase map for your beta. This is the one map that's going to leave an impression on people. Now, if you remember in Star Wars Battlefront, they chose Hoth. It's a very iconic Star Wars, locale. For this, they're just choosing this map that when I think of World War I, this map is not what I think of in my head. I didn't like the map very much at all. The one thing that I did like about the map, but it's not, I don't know if this is so much the map as it is a feature of the game, is every once in a while, very rarely, it only happened like 2 times in the entire time I played the beta, you would get these sandstorms. And usually these kind of sandstorm games, they're like very mild and they don't do much, it's just kind of an aesthetic thing. In this game, it was like really hardcore sandstorm. Like you couldn't see shit. And once it happened, it completely transformed the dynamic of the game. Like we were getting completely crushed on the attacking side of the rush game mode. And then the sandstorm came and then it started kicking ass. You could actually get through and not get sniped by those tanks and stuff. So I like the sandstorms. Really hardcore. I saw people complaining about it like, oh my god, I can't see shit. But I really liked it. I hope they don't change that. It was a very, very drastic effect. I guess it's kind of like this game's version of a Levolution since there's no huge skyscrapers to crash. There were 4 or 5 classes that you could play as in this game. Basically, gun-wise, there was like an automatic submachine gun rifle type thing. There was a semi-automatic rifle. There was a bolt-action sniper rifle. And then like a light machine gun, heavy machine gun, whatever you want to call it, type weapon. I started off playing as the basic, assault class, which had that little submachine gun, assault rifle type thing, automatic gun. I didn't like it at all. It felt kind of useless because a lot of your engagements in this game are going to be more long range. People seem to want to use sniper rifles in this game. Once I got my hands on the medic class, which had the semi-automatic rifle, I really started having fun. I liked the way that felt. I assume there's going to be a lot more guns in the final game, of course, but that semi-automatic gun was a lot of fun because a lot of people in this game, they want to snipe. They want to sit in a corner and snipe. And when you get a gun like that semi-automatic rifle, if you're clever enough to dodge their one lined-up shot, you've really got the advantage because you have range, but you can shoot your gun much faster than the sniper can. Also, in terms of vehicles, besides that light tank, there was this kind of like rectangular vehicle that had 4 guns on each side, 2 guns on each side, so 4 guns total, and people could get into it like an armored vehicle type thing. It's fine. It's not too different from something that you would find in Battlefield 3 or 4. There was also airplanes in this game, only in Conquest. I flew one and I did not like it at all. It felt very hard to control, both with a mouse and with a controller, so I'm not a huge fan of that. And then there was horses, which is like one of the things they showed in the trailer. Now the horse, you can either shoot your gun on the horse or take a sword out and swing on the sides. The horse felt very awkward to control. It was very difficult to control. And every time I get on one, it seemed like I was just, like it was a free kill. I was feeding the other team, basically. And when I'd fight people that were on the horse and were attacking me, I had a pretty easy time killing them as well. So the horse, it seems pretty useless. It's kind of like on that one map on Endor in Star Wars Battlefront where they had the speeder bikes, and it's like they're there, but there's no reason you'd use it. It's just going to get you killed. Now, there is gas grenades in this game, and you can kill people by gassing them, but it's not so useful on the map that's in the beta because, like I said, there's not many trenches. It's a very flat, open map. But there is a mechanic where when people throw a gas grenade at you, you can put your gas mask on. And what happens with the gas mask is it not only obscures your vision, but also you can't aim down sights, so you can only hip fire. So it does change the game quite drastically. And I imagine that when we get maps that aren't like this open, wide field map, when you get real World War I trench warfare maps, it's going to be very crucial to the gameplay. Not so much. So kind of in conclusion, I do think that this has the capacity to be a decent or good game because of the core mechanics. I'm not having these sort of incredibly negative, visceral reaction that I had to Star Wars Battlefront. I don't feel that way about this game. The one thing that's kind of warping my perspective of Battlefield 1 is this map that they chose for the beta. I just really don't like it at all. The real issue that I think Battlefield 1 is going to have is not itself, but rather the amount of competition that it has this fall. You've got a new Call of Duty game coming out, and you actually have 2 Call of Duty games coming out. You have Infinite Warfare, and then you have the Modern Warfare Remaster, which like it or not, people are going to pay the $80 just to play that. And then you've got EA has their own Titanfall 2 coming out, which is definitely going to steal a little bit of attention away. And then you have the phenomenon that is Overwatch, which just does not seem to die down. It just seems to ramp up more and more with each update, each patch. If you got around to playing this beta, which it seems like a lot of people have, I'd be really curious to know what you thought of the map. The few people that I know that I asked about the map, what they thought of it, they didn't like it that much either, especially when I kind of pressed them for answers. But when this game comes out, I'm not going to do like a written review for it. That's very unusual for me to do a written thing for a multiplayer-centric game. But I might make some more updated thoughts on it, especially if I like those maps more.